They've told you as above, so below was just a poetic phrase, a mystical whisper lost in time. But that's the first lie. What you've heard barely grazes the surface. Beneath its surface lies a principle so profound it unravels the very fabric of your perception. This isn't about belief. It's about how the universe operates under a code so synchronized, so eerily precise, that the vast orchestras of stars echo the silent spirals of thought flickering behind your eyes. They've buried this truth, twisted it into something ornamental, when in reality it's the key to everything. This idea has lingered in shadow for centuries, camouflaged in ritual and silence, yet it pulses in the heartbeat of the cosmos and the quietest corners of your mind. But why was it obscured? And what would shift in your life if you saw how this one principle shapes everything, your chaos, your clarity, your fate? Let's descend into the forgotten corridors of Hermetics. Teaching, where the phrase as above so below, as within so without originated. It wasn't a metaphor, it was a map. A fragment from a body of ancient knowledge attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a figure rumored to bridge science, spirit, and shadow. You might think it's abstract, something for dusty scrolls and meditating monks, but you'd be wrong. It's not distant, it's in your mirror. This law reveals that reality isn't layered randomly, it is recursive. What exists on one level, celestial, emotional, atomic, reverberates through every other. The macrocosm reflects the microcosm. It always has. But this reflection doesn't always flatter, it reveals. Uncomfortably so. It's not theory. You've seen it. You just didn't know what you were looking at. Consider fractals, those infinite geometric forms repeating in tree branches, coastlines, the alveoli of your lungs. You zoom in and they echo themselves. Nature doesn't just follow patterns. It compulsively mirrors. The small reflects the immense. This is not poetic coincidence, it's structural obsession. And in that structure, hidden in plain sight, is the truth. Your inner state projects outward like a film reel casting light onto the world. You've felt it. When you're secure, the world opens. When you're paranoid, the world corners you. This isn't psychology. It's hermetic law, a feedback loop between your mind and your environment, one feeding the other, endlessly. But here's what they've kept from you. This principle isn't meant to comfort. It's meant to awaken, to expose, to empower, to threaten the illusion that you're powerless. When you understand how deeply your internal world maps your outer one, you no longer get to blame randomness. You hold the pen. And though we can only scratch the surface here, some truths are too raw to speak openly. That's why we created Insights Academy, a private dive into what lies beneath the surface. Subscribers receive the Kalion, a once-hidden hermetic text, free. The link waits in the description. Once you start seeing through the lens of as above, so below, everything changes. The ancient traditions didn't chant about balance for peace. They did it for survival. Because misalignment between your inner world and the universal laws doesn't just disrupt your energy, it distorts your life. Hermetic teaching isn't spiritual escapism. It's practical alchemy. Spirit and matter, two masks of the same force. What you contain doesn't stay locked inside. It bleeds into your health, your career, your relationships. Every thought a seed, every belief a builder, every emotion a compass. You don't need to vanish into a monastery to understand this. Just start watching. Watch your patterns. Watch how a single doubt can derail a week. Watch how quiet confidence can bend events in your favor. This principle isn't about magic, it's about mastery. And when you stop acting like a spectator and start living like a mirror, you wake up. You realize the power isn't outside you. It never was. It was always hidden in the reflection. For generations, this truth was cloaked in secrecy, shared in whispers behind locked doors. But now the lines blur. What if as above, so below isn't just ancient wisdom, but a law science is reluctantly beginning to confirm? The deeper we study the universe, the more reality bends toward the old knowledge. The border between mysticism and empirical truth begins to dissolve, and suddenly the echoes, once faint, become deafening. The concept of fractals, those eerily intricate self-replicating patterns, reveals a disturbing elegance hidden within the chaos of existence. These forms don't just exist in nature and mathematics. They repeat obsessively, echoing through every layer of reality. You see them in the spiraling arms of galaxies and the dendritic maps of your own neurons. This is not coincidence. This is as above, so below, alive and breathing. An unsettling whisper that the same force shaping the stars also threads itself through your consciousness. A quiet implication hides here. If the same patterns repeat from cosmos to cortex, then perhaps your thoughts are not as private, not as isolated as you believe. Now consider quantum entanglement. Two particles, light years apart, bound by an invisible link, mimicking each other's states without delay. It defies logic. It mocks distance. Yet it perfectly echoes Hermetic wisdom, the idea that all things are reflections of each other. This phenomenon suggests that reality is not divided, but woven into a single, trembling tapestry. One shift, here, and something shudders over there. It's not just mysticism, it's quantum mechanics, and the implications are chilling. If the microcosm and macrocosm are truly one, then your thoughts, your fears, might ripple far beyond what you can see. Even the holographic universe theory dares to affirm it. According to this model, every fragment of the universe contains the blueprint of the whole. Break a hologram and each shard still holds the full image. Reality, then, may be a series of illusions stacked on top of each other. Reflections inside. Reflections. What does this mean for you? It means the line between you and everything else is thinner than you've ever feared. Your mind is not a bubble, it's a mirror, and everything you do, everything you think, bleeds into the system. These parallels between ancient teachings and modern science are not random alignments. They are patterns, haunting, persistent patterns that suggest our universe is a unified intelligence, watching itself through your eyes. Mystics like Hermes Trismegistus, Paracelsus, even Jesus hinted at this fusion of divine and human. The kingdom of heaven is within you, Jesus said, not as metaphor but as map. Carl Jung, peering into the architecture of the psyche, found the same code. His concept of synchronicity, the eerie harmony of inner thought and outer event, was no accident. He suspected that mind and matter are not strangers, but secret siblings. Jung's work cracked open the door between Hermetic wisdom and modern psychology. He saw that the psyche wasn't isolated, it was entangled with the cosmos. That your dreams, your instincts, your suffering, these weren't just personal, they were echoes. And when you begin to truly see that, the phrase, as above, so below, changes. It stops being an old saying. It becomes a lens through which reality distorts and sharpens simultaneously. It reveals a truth that can unsettle, that your thoughts are not confined to your head. They're signals. They are shaping the story you're trapped inside. This isn't spiritual fluff. It's a quiet terror and a subtle liberation. The moment you see these patterns linking your emotions to your daily experience, your inner world to the world outside, everything shifts. You can't unsee it. And the power buried in that awareness is staggering. If your internal changes ripple outward, then your private despair has always had public consequences. Your healing could shape the lives of strangers. This is the hidden force behind As Above, So Below. The terrifying realization that you are not separate, that you never were. One of the deepest delusions in modern thought is the imagined divide between spirit and matter. We're taught to keep them in separate boxes, one untouchable, the other measurable. But Hermeticism whispers a different truth. Spirit and matter are two faces of the same essence, different masks worn by the same infinite energy. Not opposites, not enemies, twins. Think of Einstein's E1mc2. It tells us that matter is energy slowed down, condensed, tangible spirit. Long before physics put it in equations, Hermetics taught that the material world is shaped by higher, unseen laws. Not metaphorically, literally. The stars above you are not indifferent. They are part of the same machine that pulses inside you. They influence you, yes, but you influence them too. Just as spirit flows downward into matter, matter rises up to shape spirit. A closed loop, a mirrored system. You are both architect and artifact. And in understanding this, truly understanding it, you begin to see that the walls of your reality were never real. They were projections, and the projector has always been you. You've probably felt it before, though maybe not consciously. It creeps in during moments of heightened emotion, when dread tightens your chest like a vice, when joy makes your limbs feel weightless, almost disconnected from the ground. These sensations aren't just chemical, they're echoes of something deeper, something invisible reaching up from the subconscious, pulling strings in the physical world. The idea that your mind, your abstract thoughts, emotions, and beliefs can mold your flesh and surroundings is more than mysticism. It's a subtle war between the visible and the hidden, a mirror held up not to your face, but your psyche. Ancient. Hermetic wisdom whispers that the world outside you is just a projection of what's within. Two people can witness the same event and walk away with opposite truths. One walks into light, the other a shadow. Why? Because the filter isn't reality. It's the mind quietly shaping every crack and color. The phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without, isn't poetic fluff. It's a warning, a roadmap. Your inner chaos or clarity doesn't stay caged. It spills out, mutating your reality to match the madness or the peace you harbor. And now science, once reluctant, slowly nods in agreement. Neuroplasticity shows that thoughts are sculptors, habits are hammers. Every repetition, every obsession is carving neural grooves, reinforcing, rewiring, repeating. You think joy, you become joy. You think despair long enough, and your brain forgets how to build anything else. This isn't some mystical fog. It's your biology obeying ancient laws we barely understand. The world outside you contorts to match your internal script. And the scariest part? Most people don't even realize they're writing one. But this tether between spirit and matter isn't just about thoughts. It bleeds into everything. Your routines, your surroundings, your smallest decisions. Hermetic teachings say the physical world doesn't just mirror you, it responds. A subtle, intelligent dance. One misplaced step, one bad habit repeated enough, and you can spiral without noticing, like ripples from a single drop distorting an entire reflection. That's why discipline isn't optional. Mindfulness isn't just trendy, it's survival. They're the thread keeping your internal world from unraveling the one outside. Take sacred geometry, those spirals, those perfect ratios repeating through snowflakes, nautilus shells, and galaxies. They're not coincidences, they're signatures, proof that something, someone is orchestrating from behind the veil. When you stare into those shapes long enough, when you meditate on them, your mind begins to hum in tune with something larger. You feel it in your bones, an alignment, a pull, not to something outside you, but buried deep inside. Quiet, ancient, waiting. The principle of unity between spirit and matter forces you to reframe everything. That lingering anxiety, not just stress, maybe a misalignment. That sudden stroke of luck, not coincidence, maybe the fruit of invisible harmony. The world isn't attacking you or rewarding you. It's responding to you, reflecting you, echoing. Every fractured belief and every seed of clarity. And the more you become aware of that, the less you see life as a chain of isolated events. It becomes a pattern, a rhythm, sometimes beautiful, sometimes terrifying. Because when you grasp that matter and spirit are one, you lose the excuse of helplessness. You see that every external storm might be born from an internal drought, every burst of light from an inner spark you forgot you lit. It's not comforting, it's confronting, but also empowering. The rules haven't changed in millennia. You just never noticed they were there. Hermetic wisdom didn't come to decorate your bookshelf. It came to wake something up, to show you that control doesn't start out there. It starts within the battleground of your mind. The haunting beauty of As Above, So Below is that it isn't just theory, it's a method, a scalpel for dissecting your own chaos. If your reality is distorted, you look inward, not outward, because even the smallest internal shift can send tremors across your life. The principle doesn't whisper, it screams. Pay attention. Your thoughts build the walls you live in. They tint the windows, they shape the exits. You just didn't realize you were the architect all along. The way you experience life isn't just influenced by your thoughts, it's sculpted by them. Negative patterns like self-doubt or fear don't simply echo in the privacy of your mind. They seep out, altering your posture, your voice, your choices. They twist conversations, sabotage opportunities, and stain relationships. But what's more unsettling is how unnoticed this transformation can be. You don't even realize the shift until the damage is done. The Hermetic principle of correspondence reveals this isn't just philosophy, it's law. A silent, relentless law. What's inside leaks out. What you believe, you become. Ever felt a room change when someone walked in? Noticed how a person's anger curdled the air, or how someone's quiet joy softened the tension around them? That's not just sensitivity, it's transmission. Your emotional state carries a charge. Others feel it before they hear it. If you enter with anxiety, people stiffen. If you project calm, they ease into your rhythm. The principle isn't passive, it's magnetic. Change your inner current, and you influence more than just your mood. You bend the emotional weather around you. This goes deeper than mood. It touches belief. The most tragic limitations are the ones we impose on ourselves without realizing. A person who secretly believes they don't deserve love will sabotage connection. One who doubts their worth will unconsciously reject success. Even when it's right there, knocking, waiting, they won't answer. Because their internal script already wrote the ending. But change the script and the plot shifts. Trade I can't for I will, I'm not enough for I am, and the world begins to shape around those new truths. The shift might feel subtle, but it's seismic. But this isn't just mental. The law of correspondence bleeds into action. Habits are spells we cast daily. Every small decision, skipping a workout, ignoring a journal entry, rushing through a breath, adds up not just physically but psychically. Like pebbles tossed into a still pond, they send ripples you can't always see, yet they shape the current beneath. And when done with intention, when you choose to sit in silence, to move your body, to write your thoughts, they become anchors. Rituals that protect against the storm. Over time, they don't just support you, they transform you. Meditation isn't just a break from chaos, it's a recalibration. It thickens the skin of your awareness, quiets the static, builds resilience, like a muscle. At first it may seem trivial, but then without realizing it, you're breathing easier in traffic. You're responding instead of reacting. You're weathering what used to shatter you. These aren't random improvements, they're the result of rewiring that began the moment you turned inward. The Hermetic law was already in motion. You just stopped resisting it. Your environment reflects you, but it also controls you. A cluttered desk isn't just messy, it's a mirror of a cluttered mind. You trip over your own disorder. And the worst part? You start thinking it's normal. But clean that space. Align it with intention. And something shifts. Clarity. Breathing room. A sense of control where there was only weight. Your surroundings don't just follow your inner state. They reinforce it. It's a loop. One affects the other in a quiet, powerful dance. Recognizing that loop is the first step toward using it, even your body. Yes, the vessel you think you live in is a reflection of your thoughts. The posture you slump into when you're defeated. The tension you hold during stress. These aren't random. They're signals, symbols, physical evidence that your inner world isn't private. It's shouting through your skin. As above, so below. As within, so without. When you ignore that law, life feels like chaos. But when you obey it, when you live in awareness, you regain the ability to shape your world. Not through control, but through alignment. Emotions and habits don't vanish in the mind. They metastasize. Stress, for instance, doesn't always scream. It whispers through clenched jaws, aching shoulders, chronic fatigue. It burrows beneath your skin. But the true cause often lies deeper than the body. Obsessive thought loops, suppressed grief, or a lifestyle stitched with quiet self-destruction. Healing, then, requires more than pills or rest. It demands excavation. Practices like yoga, breath, work, and mindful eating don't just soothe, they realign. They strip the static away, syncing the physical with the spiritual, stitching the soul back into the skin. Obstacles, too, are not always what they seem. Hermetic wisdom insists they're never just external roadblocks. They are messengers, cryptic and often cruel, reflecting fears we haven't faced or growth we've resisted. When you ask, Why does this keep happening to me? The answer often lies within: a fear of failure, an addiction to control, a wound left to fester. But once you stop resisting and start listening, once you face the shadow, the external challenge often softens or morphs entirely. It's not magic, it's realignment. The obstacle becomes the teacher, and pain, strange as it sounds, becomes a compass. Living this principle at its deepest level means aligning your actions with something bigger than ego. When you pursue a goal not to outrun failure or outshine others, but to serve, to grow, to contribute, something shifts. The current turns, the path clears. The universe, it seems, responds to sincerity. Synchronicities emerge. Timing becomes uncanny. Life flows not because it's easier, but because it's truer. Authentic intention has a frequency, and the world, though often chaotic, knows how to echo it when it's real. To live as above, so below is to stop blaming life for its storms and start questioning the weather within. It means taking responsibility for every silent thought, every half-hearted choice, every reaction you never questioned. You are not a leaf in the current. You are the current. You are the cause, not just the effect. And once you see this, you can never return to passivity. You become the artist, the builder, the destroyer. You mold your reality with every breath, every belief, whether you mean to or not. Every small effort toward mindfulness sends ripples into places you can't see. A moment of silence instead of reaction, a shift from judgment to curiosity. These are not minor, they are seismic in the invisible architecture of your life, and they don't stop with you. Your energy touches others, shapes their days, alters their trajectories. You aren't just improving yourself, you're realigning a larger web, one decision at a time. The principle of as above, so below is not a gentle philosophy. It's a challenge, an invitation to step into radical alignment with the unseen, forces that shape all things. In Hermetic thought, harmony is not stillness. It's a dynamic, living balance, a tension between extremes that somehow holds. To live in harmony, then, is to become a conscious participant in creation, to realize that the smallest of your actions may echo beyond your comprehension, that your silence can be louder than your voice, that your thoughts are spells cast into the cosmos. So what does it mean to truly align with this rhythm? It begins with watching, with noticing when you're reacting instead of choosing, with catching yourself in a thought that doesn't belong to you anymore. It begins with presence. Most people drift through life like ghosts, haunted by past versions of themselves. But Hermeticism calls you back into the body, back into the now, reminding you that every external storm is often a signal, an echo from the mind, a pattern from within made visible. To change the external world, the first step is always to confront the internal imbalances. If you feel overwhelmed by chaos, it may be reflecting unresolved turmoil within. The external world doesn't just happen to you, it mirrors the internal state you carry. When you find yourself drowning in disorder, the first question to ask is, what are my experiences trying to teach me? Only by looking inward can you begin to restore balance. Balance itself is a cornerstone of harmony. The modern world relentlessly pulls us toward extremes: excessive work, constant stimulation, an unhealthy obsession with material gain. But Hermetic wisdom teaches that fulfillment is born not in extremes, but in balance. Ambition, while not inherently bad, becomes destructive when it devours your health, your relationships, or your spiritual life. A life consumed only by the pursuit of material success creates emptiness, a hunger that cannot be satisfied. Likewise, an exclusive focus on spiritual growth, if disconnected from the material world, leaves you ineffective, out of touch with the tangible reality around you. The middle path, the balance between both, is the key to true alignment. To cultivate that balance, certain practices are essential. Mindfulness is one of the most potent tools for bringing you back to the present. When you fully engage with the moment, you begin to notice the undercurrent of your thoughts and emotions without being swallowed by them. You become an observer instead of a victim. This awareness gives you the power to choose your response deliberately, aligning your actions with your true intentions. Meditation, another powerful practice, helps silence the noise of the mind. In the stillness, you create space for deeper truths to surface, truths that are often drowned out by the clamor of daily life. Her few minutes of meditation each day can set the tone for inner peace, a peace that in turn radiates outward, affecting your interactions and decisions. Nature, too, is a profound teacher of balance. Hermetic philosophy often points to the natural world as the clearest reflection of universal laws. The rhythm of the seasons, the growth cycles of plants, the gentle flow of rivers, all these illustrate the delicate dance between creation and destruction, expansion and contraction. Spending time in nature connects you to these cycles, reminding you that you are part of a greater web of life. Whether it's walking through a forest, sitting by the ocean, or gazing at the stars, nature grounds you in the reality of as above, so below. It reconnects you to the harmony of the universe. Your daily habits, too, shape your alignment with universal harmony. Small, intentional actions can lead to profound transformation over time. Starting your day with gratitude, for example, aligns your mind with abundance and possibility. Self-discipline in areas like diet, exercise, and time management creates an order that ripples outward, bringing structure to your relationships, work, and personal life. These simple, seemingly mundane habits are powerful tools for bridging the gap between your inner and outer worlds, for creating harmony between spirit and matter. Perhaps the most important element of alignment is intention. Every action you take, no matter how small, carries the energy of your intent. When you act from a place of conscious intention, rather than reaction or habit, your actions resonate with the universal flow. This focused energy creates shifts, not only in your life, but in the lives of those around you. It's in the quiet, consistent choices that your true power lies. Every action you take, no matter how small, carries energy that ripples outward. When your actions align with positive intentions, they amplify harmony around you. For instance, offering genuine kindness to someone in need not only uplifts them, but creates a ripple effect that touches everyone they interact with. This is the essence of as above, so below in action. Your internal state reflected in your behavior influences the broader world. Finally, aligning with universal harmony requires trust. The Hermetic principle teaches us that the universe operates on laws greater than our comprehension. When challenges arise, it's tempting to resist or control outcomes, but true harmony often requires surrender. Trusting that the universe is working in your favor, even when the path is unclear, allows you to navigate life with greater ease and grace. This trust doesn't mean passivity. Rather, it means aligning your efforts with faith in the process. When you live in accordance with the principle of as above, so below, you begin to experience a profound flow. Your internal world becomes a wellspring of clarity and peace, and your external reality starts to reflect this harmony. Life no longer feels like a struggle against the current, but a seamless flow in alignment with the universe. This alignment isn't something you achieve once and for all. It's a practice, a commitment to living in tune with the rhythms of the universe. Embracing as above, so below brings transformation not only to your personal life, but to everything around you, your family, your community, even the world at large can feel the effects of this alignment. The Hermetic teachings remind us that individual change has collective implications. When you shift your inner world, you contribute to the greater transformation of the whole. This is the power of interconnectedness in action. Every great movement in history began with individuals who changed themselves first. Think of figures like Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., whose inner convictions became the foundation for global change. Their lives embodied the truth of as above, so below. By aligning their personal values with external actions, they inspired others to do the same. The Hermetic principle demonstrates that just as the macrocosm reflects the microcosm, the transformation of one can lead to the awakening of many. You may wonder how small personal changes could impact something as vast as the world, but every system, whether a community or an ecosystem, is made up of interconnected parts. When one part changes, it affects the whole. For example, when you cultivate inner peace, it naturally influences how you interact with others. Your calmness may de-escalate a tense situation, inspire someone to approach their own struggles differently, or create a ripple effect that spreads positivity further than you can see. This isn't wishful thinking, It's how interconnected systems work, whether on a societal or cosmic scale. Nature provides countless examples of collective harmony. In ecosystems, balance isn't achieved through dominance, but through cooperation. Bees pollinate flowers, ensuring the survival of plants while the plants provide the nectar bees need to thrive. Similarly, in human communities, cooperation and empathy create conditions where everyone can flourish. The Hermetic Principle teaches that when we align ourselves with this natural order, we contribute to the collective well-being of the world. Practically, this means recognizing that your internal growth isn't just for you. When you focus on self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and aligning your actions with your values, you become a beacon for others. People are drawn to authenticity, and your example can inspire them to embark on their own journeys of transformation. This doesn't require preaching or forcing your beliefs on others. Simply living in alignment with the principle of as above, so below is enough to spark change. One of the most powerful ways to embody this principle is by consistently reflecting the harmony you seek in the world. Your own inner peace, clarity, and authenticity become the silent catalysts that encourage transformation in those around you. When you align your personal energy with the collective good, something powerful happens. Something subtle but potent. It starts with simple acts, the kind of actions you might dismiss as trivial in the rush of daily life. Volunteering your time, supporting a friend, or offering the knowledge that's shaped your own growth. At first glance they seem small, insignificant even, but they're seeds. Seeds that, when planted in fertile ground, begin to grow. With each act, you reinforce the Hermetic Principle of as above, so below, amplifying its presence in both your life and the world around you. It's an internal alignment that echoes externally, creating a quiet harmony that can't be ignored. And today, in this age of connectivity, spreading these ideas is easier than ever. Social media, podcasts, and online communities give you the opportunity to share your experiences with a global audience. When you talk about how the Hermetic Principle has shaped your life, when you explain its influence, something begins to shift. To some, it may be nothing more than a passing curiosity, something they'll forget before the day is done. But to others, to those sensitive to such energies, it strikes a deeper chord. A spark of recognition flares to life, an echo of something they've always known but never truly understood. From this recognition, they begin their own exploration, unknowingly becoming part of something much larger than themselves. The ripple effect starts small, but it doesn't stop there. These individual transformations begin to have a far-reaching impact, more than just on those who are directly involved. They spread outward, infiltrating communities, and then, slowly but surely, touching the global scale. The crises we face today, environmental destruction, social inequality, the ongoing disconnect between spirit and matter, are all symptoms of a deeper, more profound disconnection. Humanity at its core has forgotten its connection to universal harmony, but the Hermetic teachings offer a path back. It's not just a solution, it's a return to balance. Imagine for a moment that shift in perspective, a shift from scarcity to abundance, not just in the material sense, but in the mindset. This change could inspire sustainable practices, sustainable living, benefiting both the planet and the people who call it home. Imagine a world where compassion and empathy aren't just ideals, but the building blocks of a new society. These aren't fantasies. They are attainable goals that can manifest when enough individuals live in alignment with universal laws. That's the power of interconnectedness, not just among people, but between all living things across cultures, borders, and ideologies. Small intentional changes multiplied by millions create a transformation that can't be stopped. But it's not about waiting for someone else to make that first step. It's about understanding that transformation begins with you. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the greater good, you start a chain reaction. Each change within you resonates outward, rippling through the world in ways you can't always see but always feel. And in this unseen space, the true power lies. It's not the grand gestures that matter. It's the quiet, persistent commitment to living authentically, in harmony with the universe. This is the true meaning of as above, so below. It's not a mere saying, it's a blueprint. It's a call to action, a reminder that no action is too small, no individual too insignificant. By living the truth of this principle, you become part of a greater movement, a movement that transcends time, culture, and belief, pushing forward into a collective awakening. Each step you take creates a ripple that spreads far beyond your understanding, touching lives you'll never know, yet forever shaping the world you inhabit. It begins with you, and it doesn't end there. This Hermetic principle unveils a profound truth. Everything is interconnected. From the grand sweep of the cosmos to the smallest, seemingly insignificant moments of your daily existence, there is a delicate web binding it all together. It teaches that your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs holds the power to shape your reality. By aligning yourself with the laws of the universe, you don't just passively observe life unfold. You can actively create profound change, not just within your mind and heart, but in the very world you experience. Pause for a moment and consider the gift this principle offers, the power to transform your life, not by imposing force or seeking control from external sources, but by taking full ownership of your inner state. The frustrations, limitations, and challenges you encounter are not signs of failure. No, they are simply reflections of areas where harmony is missing, where alignment needs to be restored. When you begin to shift your internal reality, letting go of outdated beliefs and embracing gratitude, you set in motion a quiet yet unstoppable process. It ripples outward, touching every corner of your life, subtly but surely reshaping it. But here's the crucial understanding. This transformation is not a one-time event. It's a practice, a way of living. It requires mindfulness, discipline, and trust in the process. Challenges will arise. You will face setbacks, moments when everything seems to fall apart. Yet these are not obstacles to be feared. They are mirrors, reflecting back to you where deeper alignment is needed, where growth is most essential. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It's not always easy, but each small step you take toward harmony brings you closer to living in flow with the universal laws, where life feels effortless, even in its complexities. And as you align yourself, you don't just transform your own life, you contribute to a collective awakening. The Hermetic principle reminds us that your personal journey is not isolated. By embodying these truths, you inspire others to awaken their own potential, igniting a ripple effect that spreads far beyond your immediate circle. You are part of something much larger, a movement toward balance, understanding, and growth that unites all of humanity in its deepest essence. If you felt even a flicker of recognition, don't let it fade. There are deeper layers of wisdom here, truths too profound, too sacred to share in passing. That's why we created our Insights Academy, a community for seekers like you, where you can delve deeper into this knowledge and gain access to exclusive resources. By joining, you'll receive not only access to rare insights, but also a free copy of The Kybalion, a timeless Hermetic text that has guided countless souls on their path to awakening. The link is in the description. Don't let this moment slip by. Take the next step in your journey. The real power of As Above, So Below lies in its application. It's not just a principle to ponder, it's a truth to live by. It's a reminder that you are not separate from the universe, you are a reflection of it. Your thoughts, your actions, your intentions, they are the building blocks of your reality. And as they ripple outward, they shape not just your life, but the world around you. By living in alignment with this principle, you are not merely improving your own life, you are contributing to the transformation of the collective. Now it's your turn. Act. Align your inner world, transform your outer reality, and share this wisdom with others. Together, we can create a world that mirrors the harmony of the cosmos. If this video resonated with you, let us know by commenting, "I understood it." Your journey is just beginning, and we can't wait to see where it leads.